Hi guys, welcome back on my channel. Today I'm finally talking about my rhinoplasty experience, why I decided to do it, how I chose my surgeon, the recovery process, the results 4 months later, whether I regret it or not, and of course the full price will be at the end of the video. So it's 4 months passed after my rhinoplasty. Yeah, I can't believe it in reality. And also I feel my recovery almost like every single day. So I will add links in the description below to the videos where you can watch how my recovery really happened. What I felt, etc., and the healing process day by day. Don't forget to look at the description below to check these links. I also want to say right away that rhinoplasty is very serious operation, and I don't think people should rush into it, especially too young. I personally recommend waiting until at least 25 years old before making this decision. So let's start from the beginning, and don't forget to put like, subscribe, and let's start. So, why I wanted to do rhinoplasty? When I was a child, I got hit on my nose and by the ball, and my nose got broken. And after that, of course, it changed the shape and it looked like it was a crooked nose. I would call it a bit like witch nose. And I got a few comments about my nose, how it looks, and they were small comments, but it really hurt me, I feel like. It really affected my confidence growing up. I was thinking about rhinoplasty for years, I must admit, but of course I was scared. It also was the question of money in some moments. Then I turned 27, 28, and I realized that, to be honest, now it's time. Because if I'm gonna wait more, as some people advise me, I will probably just push it off constantly and I will never do it, and then I will regret it. So I thought like, okay, now it's time. I don't like it. I want to do it. At the same time, I want to say that this surgery is not easy, physically and mentally. So I really don't recommend doing it too young. Like, don't recommend. So how I chose my doctor? It took me a time, I must admit, because finding the right surgeon is the most important thing in the whole rhinoplasty, and I feel like the hardest one. First, I looked at a doctor in Moscow. I really liked his works on Instagram, and I had a consultation with him, but online consultation, as I was in Switzerland and he was in Moscow. But what I didn't like, the consultation lasted like 15 minutes, and I felt like I didn't get enough explanation, or I don't know, I didn't feel like the doctor was interested in me, in my case, like, I didn't know, I didn't feel like going to this doctor. But yes, I liked his works. Plus, the surgeon was in Moscow and I was in Switzerland, and I didn't want to do this huge trip, like that it takes like 2 days for me to come there even. So that's why I kind of decided to not go with this doctor. Then we looked at a doctor in Zurich, in Switzerland. Honestly, he gave me one of the best consultations I've had in my life. He spent about one and a half hour with me. He explained me everything, how the operation is gonna be, everything, and it felt so safe with him. But there were two things I didn't like. First, the price was around 13,000 francs. It's like 13,000 euro or $14,000, which was too expensive for nose job. And second one was that he said that I don't need to do any blood test, that he thinks that I'm healthy. He sees me and he doesn't think I need to do any blood tests. And for me it was strange because the doctor from Moscow told me that I need to do blood tests, and it's like was 20 different tests. And it was so strange that this one said me not to do anything. At least I would expect him to tell me to do, I don't know, blood clots, etc. Something like this. So on these 2 points made us not to continue with this doctor. Then I went to Krasnodar, it's my hometown, and I went to visit my family, and I visited one doctor there who was recommended by some friends. And again, the consultation was lasted like 15 minutes, and I was like, it wasn't enough for me. I needed a bit more time, I felt like. But the doctor had other people, so couldn't spend more time with me. And on top, I was started thinking like, I need to fly from Switzerland to Krasnodar. It would take me 2 days. So again, After the operation, you have to fly back, and it's like it would be a nightmare. Can you imagine you with your cast like almost dead, and you such a big flight? So I was like, it's too complicated for me in reality. And the price was not bad. It was like 5K. But still, I didn't feel like I would be able to do it. After that, I started looking at Turkey because it's still a bit closer to Geneva. It's like 2 hours flight, and Turkey is famous for noses for sure. I had two options that I found. One was like super expensive, like 10K. The price was, and he was super professional. And the second option was for 2K. But to be honest, my dental crown cost me 3K. Paying only 2K for the nose surgery, for me it was too cheap. At the same time, 10K for Turkey, it was too much. So it was a bit like, one was too cheap and one was too expensive. So I couldn't choose none of them. Then I found a surgeon in Hamburg in Germany for Instagram. He was very famous for natural noses, and that's exactly what I wanted in reality. And in a consultation, also online consultation, he actually told me that if you want a Turkish nose, upturned nose, I'm not gonna do this. So then you need to find someone else. But I honestly wanted natural nose, and he gave me confidence that he will build me a natural nose. So I decided to go with him. My rhinoplasty experience. This one is interesting. So I booked the surgery day very fast. I thought like I can't wait any longer. And 1 week before the surgery, I remember I was even thinking to cancel because I was super stressed. But in the end, we decided to go for it. On January 11, I flew to Hamburg, and on January 12th, I met my doctor for the first time offline. By the way, I did all the test bloods before flying to Hamburg. He told me to do like maybe 10 or 7 test bloods. And on January 13th, at 7:30, I had my surgery. The operation lasted 2 hours in reality. When I woke up, surprisingly, I didn't have any pain in my nose, but the only pain I had was in my throat. It's because of an anesthesia tube, and it was really hardcore pain, I must admit, but they told me tomorrow it will be better, and it's true, it was better. And the same day after operation, I woke up quite fast, by the way. Like at 11:30 I was already awake, and at 12 I went home. Because in Europe, by the way, usually they don't keep overnight if you did plastic surgery. As far as I know, I'm not talking about every plastic surgeon, I'm talking about a few that I saw. So I went to my hotel, my partner, he picked me up, and I went to my hotel. And to be honest, the first 5 days were horrible. Like, they were so difficult. By the way, I filmed videos during my recovery every day. So if you want to see the videos, I will add links in the description below. So don't forget to check them out because you will really see all my bruises, etc. In general, I felt like a truck had driven over me like thousands of times. My nose itself didn't hurt at all, but I couldn't breathe. I could breathe only with my mouth. And because of this, I couldn't eat properly for 4-5 days. I ate mostly yogurt, something very soft, because if I ate something like meat, salad, something like this, I choked constantly because breathing and eating at the same time with your mouth is impossible, I must admit. But you will lose weight a bit if you do this. But the worst part was sleeping, because every 10 minutes I was waking up, and because my throat was super dry, I had to make a sip because it was impossible. At some moments, there was a moment when I was sleeping and I felt like something is strangling me, but in reality, it was my just dry mouth. I don't know, it was very weird feelings in reality. I don't want to repeat it, I must admit. And I feel like only on the 6th or 7th day, I finally managed to sleep almost the whole night. Maybe I woke up like two times, something like this. And on top, because we were in a hotel and it was winter, of course, the air was super dry in the hotel room. So I think it made it even worse on top. Also, a few times I called my surgeon because I was panicking. I thought that something went wrong, like I thought like I don't know, I was bleeding too much or my nose started moving in the right direction. So I was a bit panicking, but everything in the end went well. By the way, in my videos that I filmed, you could see that I had bruises. I didn't have bruises in reality. I was swollen, like a hamster. And then you see my swollenness every day was going down, down, down here. And I had bruises, but they were yellow. And that's it. I had yellow bruises here, and that's it. I didn't have these bright red bruises at all. And I didn't have, sometimes there's picture like even on your eyes, on your eyelids, there is big bruises. No, I didn't have something like this. I would say in terms of my face was okayish. I didn't have these hardcore cases where like your face was full of bruises. No, not at all. By the way, also my surgeon took a small piece from my belly button of the skin because he said I don't have enough skin on my nose. So he had to cut a piece of skin from my belly button and use it on my nose. This also. So I have a scar on my belly button. And my small recovery recommendation will be you need to have a straw for drinking because drinking is also very difficult without a straw. Vaseline for your lips because your lips will be super dry. And definitely a humidifier. I think it will make your nights a bit better. So, when the splints were removed on the 8th day, I hated my nose. It looked huge, swollen, bruised. I looked like a mouse or avatar, something in between. And I had so much negative thoughts in my head. I was like, why did I do this? It looks so terrible. And then the doctor came, he checked my nose and he cracked it here like this. And I heard the noise and I was like, oh my God, what it is? And he said, everything is okay, don't worry. But of course it scared me. I thought maybe there is something wrong, but I still don't know if it was normal or not. And he told me that I can fly home and wear a cast till the 12th day, but I should continue taping my nose only at night. I know that some people tape the whole day for 2-3 weeks, for the month, but for me, I was told to do it only in the evening. Of course, everyone case is different, everyone doctor is different, and so on. When I removed my cast at home, again, I started crying. It looks so terrible. It looks so big. I will try to put pictures. It was terrible. It was really terrible to watch in reality. This nose looks so massive. I cried. I blamed my partner why he didn't stop me. And to be honest, I spiraled. It was quite emotional, but my partner managed to calm me down. He said me, let's go to another doctor, let's do checkup, don't worry. And then at these moments, I would say in 2 weeks, after 1 or 2 weeks, when I was already at home, I started having a bump here. Like I thought it's a bone, like big bump. And of course I got worried. I called my doctor by WhatsApp and he said it's probably a swelling, but he said I can't tell you for sure without touching it, And that was the problem also, by the way. And of course I went to another surgeon, but here in Geneva, for him to touch it. And he said to me that most probably it's swelling, but you still better to see a surgeon because he said, I didn't do this job. I don't know exactly what he did. And then they were both right. It was a swelling. Now it's okay here. I don't have a bone here anymore. And to be honest, after the first month, I would say my nose started changing and it started looking better every week, I would say. And I finally started liking it. So 4 months later passed and I must admit I have a new bump. I have a bump here, if you can see. I don't know, is it a swelling? I don't know, is it a scar tissues? I don't know, because it can be both in reality. I didn't tell my surgeon yet because in any case I need to go to Hamburg, but now I just don't have time to go to Hamburg and it's a bit annoying. He can't tell me it online if it's scar tissue or it's swelling or what is it. But then to be honest, my surgeon explained that scar tissue is very individual and sometimes even the best surgeons can't control how your body will recover, how it heals itself. And I feel like I have a problem with scarring for sure. In general, my scars, they all heal very badly. So I assume it will be scar tissue, but we will see, because even if it is, he can't do anything till 1 year, as you need to cut again your nose, cut these tissues. But to be honest, if the bump stays the same or becomes smaller, and my nose not gonna go sideways or become crooked, I'm okay with it. I feel like I'm not gonna do the second operation if I just have a small bump push, because the recovery was really, really hard. I will do video in 1 year and I will tell you. There are still small things I notice. Sometimes in a rainy weather, my nose feel more swollen and I breathe worse. One nostril, if you see, is smaller than the other. I don't know, it's because my face is just naturally symmetrical or maybe something else, because doctor told me that our faces is not symmetrical. So in any case, one of your nostril will be a bit smaller or a bit bigger, because in general, for example, one of my eye is bigger than the other and so on. If they do perfect nose, then it won't suit to your face. In any case, I will discuss it with my surgeon what it is, and then I will also tell you in 1 year what it is. But overall, I like my new nose. To be honest, in comparison, what I had before, this one is a beauty, to be honest, because my nose looked terrible. And to be honest, I don't remember myself with my old nose. Like, I feel like I was born with this one. I can't now imagine myself with my old nose. This nose gave me confidence, this 100%, and this I can't deny. And I feel like mentally it changed a lot for me. And the traits, I think my traits became softer. I feel when I had my old nose, my face looked more strict, more a bit I don't know, it's more stricter. I think even a bit older. Now I feel like I look a bit younger and my traits are softer, more feminine, I would say. So, what about price? The surgery cost 8.4k euro. I'm not including flights and hotel because that depends on the person. But I would say that we probably spent 11k in total euro. During recovery, in general, I took herbal pills to decrease swelling. I used a cream also to decrease swelling. And I cleaned my nose with special saline water. That's it, what I did. And I taped my nose at night. So overall, I do not regret this rhinoplasty. It's very hard. Recovery is super hard. But I do not regret my rhinoplasty. But one very important thing I learned from this experience, I highly recommend doing rhinoplasty either in your city or at least not far from your own home. For me, recovering away from home made everything much worse, emotionally and physically. And another difficult part, that if you can't see your doctor at any moment, it's very hard. Because my doctor is Hamburg, I can only see him online, not offline, and he can't give me really answers. But if he could see me offline, he could explain me that don't worry, it's a swelling, everything is okay. Because first month, it's such an important thing to be reassured by your doctor that everything goes well. So this is a mistake that I did. I should have chosen someone here in Geneva, or at least not far from Geneva, so I could recover at my place. So if you think about surgery somewhere abroad, take it into consideration. And I think I want to really warn people, this is a very difficult surgery, physically and mentally. And if you have a tiny bump on your face, on your nose, I honestly wouldn't recommend to do it at all, because scar tissue and healing can sometimes make it even worse, and that doesn't depend always on the surgeon. So if you don't have a crooked big nose, please don't do this. You will most probably can regret after. Because breathing problems after rhinoplasty are quite common and people should take it seriously. So please don't rush if you make such a decision. So, and that's it. Like I said, I'm gonna do a video in 1 year to show the result, because you have to wait 1 year. Now everything is moving every month. Everything is changing every month in my nose. So of course we will see the true result in 1 year. But tell me, if you had rhinoplasty, write me in the comment. Are you happy with your result or not? Where did you do it? I'm really curious about your experience. And if you liked the video, don't forget to put a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!